The sun rose slowly over the calm sea, spreading golden light across the quiet water. The small research boat named Blue Pearl floated gently on the waves. Adam, a skilled diver with a calm and thoughtful nature, stood at the edge of the deck, watching the endless ocean stretch out before him. The air was fresh and the wind carried a soft scent of salt. Today was not just another dive. It was the day he hoped to uncover something that could change everything he knew about history and the deep ocean. For months, Adam had been studying old maps and strange reports shared by sailors and fishermen. Many of them spoke of strange shadows beneath the sea, large metal structures resting on the ocean floor, far away from any known wreck site. Most people thought it was only imagination or tricks of the sonar, but one old fisherman had given Adam a set of coordinates and said that deep down in that area, there was something giant, something from a forgotten war. Adam had not been able to stop thinking about it since that day. Mia, Adam's research partner and close friend, stood beside him checking the diving instruments. She trusted Adam's instincts even when others thought his ideas were impossible. "You are sure this is the right spot?" she asked while adjusting the radar monitor. The screen showed only a few waves and small fish signals. There was no clear sign of anything large below. Adam smiled slightly. "Sometimes the ocean hides its secrets too well," he said. "But I can feel it. Something is down there." He checked his oxygen tank, tested his flashlight, and secured his underwater camera. The water shimmered with morning light as he placed his diving mask over his face. Mia gave him a thumbs up. "Be careful, Adam," she said. "If it's real, we will make history today." He nodded and then jumped into the water with a smooth dive. The sound of the world above disappeared instantly. The ocean surrounded him in silence. Only the soft sound of bubbles and his own breathing filled his ears. As he began to sink, the bright light from the surface faded little by little, replaced by a deep blue shade that grew darker with every meter. Adam was calm. He had done hundreds of dives, but this one carried a special feeling. It felt as if the sea itself was waiting for him to arrive. Small silver fish passed him, curious about the new visitor in their world. Coral-covered rocks appeared below him like underwater mountains. He looked at his depth gauge. He was nearly 100 meters below the surface when he saw it. At first it looked like a shadow, a long dark shape resting on the sea floor. But as he swam closer, the shape became clearer. His flashlight beam touched cold metal, rusted by time and covered in sea plants. His heart started to race. It was not a rock. It was a structure. When he wiped off some sand from the surface, he saw faded letters and numbers. It was the outer wall of a massive submarine. Adam could hardly believe his eyes. The submarine was larger than anything he had ever seen before. It stretched across the ocean floor like a sleeping giant, half buried in sand and coral. Its sides were covered with marine growth, but the design was unmistakable. It was from the World War II era. He moved his flashlight slowly across the hull, reading the worn-out markings. There was no name visible, but one small symbol near the entrance looked unfamiliar. It was shaped like a spiral, unlike any Navy symbol he knew. He swam along the length of the submarine, recording everything with his underwater camera. The structure seemed endless, with huge propellers at the rear and broken antennas lying in the sand. There was a large hole near the back, possibly caused by an old explosion. Adam carefully floated toward it, shining his light inside. The water inside was darker, filled with tiny particles drifting slowly like dust in the air. He took a deep breath through his regulator and entered the opening. The narrow passage inside was covered with rust, pipes, and broken panels. Every sound he made echoed faintly through the empty metal corridors. It was like stepping into a forgotten time. He saw tools floating in the water, small items like wrenches and metal plates that seemed untouched since the day the submarine sank. Some control panels were still in place, although covered in a layer of sand and coral. Then he noticed something unusual. A heavy steel door at the end of the corridor was still sealed shut. The rest of the submarine looked damaged, but that door seemed almost untouched. There was no sign of corrosion around it. It had an engraving that he could barely see. Adam wiped off the dirt and noticed faint letters that read Project Nautilus. He tried to open the door, but it did not move. It felt as if something was locking it from the inside. He decided not to force it. His oxygen level was dropping, and he needed to return soon. Before leaving, he looked around the control room and found something lying under the captain's chair. It was a small metal box. The lock was old but strong, and the same spiral symbol was engraved on its surface. He placed the box in his waterproof bag carefully. He knew it could be the key to understanding this mysterious submarine. As he swam back toward the exit, he turned one last time to look at the huge structure. The submarine rested silently in the darkness as if waiting for someone to uncover its secrets. He could not shake off the feeling that he had just stepped into a story much larger than himself. After several minutes, he reached the surface. The sky was still bright and the sea was calm. Mia leaned over the side of the boat and helped him climb aboard. "So?" she asked, excitement shining in her eyes. "Did you find anything?" Adam removed his mask and took a deep breath. "I found it," he said quietly. "A giant submarine. It's real. It's from World War II. Mia's eyes widened. "You're serious? How big is it?" "Massive," he replied. "Bigger than any submarine ever built at that time. And there's more. I found something inside." He opened the waterproof bag and showed her the small metal box. Mia leaned closer. "What is it?" "I don't know," Adam said. "But it has the same strange symbol I saw inside. And the name Project Nautilus. That's what's written on the sealed door." They both stared at the box in silence for a moment. The sound of gentle waves filled the air. The metal box looked simple, but it carried an air of mystery, as if it held a secret from another world. Mia touched the engraved symbol. "We should take it to the lab," she said. "Maybe it's some kind of record or device." Adam nodded. "Tomorrow we go back. I need to open that door and see what's behind it." That night, after they anchored the boat near a quiet bay, Adam lay awake in his cabin. The soft rocking of the sea made the boat creak gently. He could not stop thinking about what he had seen. The image of the submarine stayed in his mind along with the words, Project Nautilus. He felt both curious and uneasy. He wondered why such a massive submarine was never mentioned in any official record. He also wondered why the sealed door in the box had remained untouched after so many years underwater. He closed his eyes, but his thoughts kept returning to the dark passage and the silent steel door that refused to open. Deep down, he knew this was not just another wreck. It was the beginning of something much bigger. Something that could change how people saw the history of the war, and maybe even the history of humankind. The next morning came with soft waves and a sky filled with pale colors. The sea looked peaceful, as if hiding the secrets of the night. Adam woke up early, his mind still filled with thoughts about the submarine. The image of the sealed door and the strange box would not leave him. Mia was already awake, sitting on the deck with a cup of coffee and a notebook in her hand. She had been researching the phrase Project Nautilus, but there were no results in any public record. "There is no file, no mention of this name anywhere," Mia said as Adam joined her. "It's like it never existed." Adam looked at the small metal box lying on the table. The sunlight reflected faintly on its surface. The spiral symbol looked old yet carefully made, as if it had a deeper meaning. If it was a secret military project, maybe everything was destroyed or hidden after the war, Adam said. Mia nodded. "Then that means this could be something very important." They decided to open the box carefully. Adam used small tools from his research kit, trying not to damage it. The lock was strong and strange in design. It didn't open with any key or code they had seen before. The box seemed to react slightly when touched, like it had a hidden mechanism inside. After several minutes, Adam stepped back and sighed. "It's not going to open easily. I think it needs a special key or maybe some kind of code from the submarine itself." Mia looked up from her notebook. "Then we'll have to go back down there," Adam agreed. "Today, we'll check the sealed door again and see if there's anything nearby that connects to this box." They prepared the diving gear once more. The sky was clear and the sea was calm. The boat rocked gently as Adam stood at the edge, ready to dive again. He felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. There was something different about this dive. He could sense that the ocean was hiding more than just metal and rust this time. As he sank deeper, the blue light slowly disappeared, replaced by darkness. His flashlight created a small circle of brightness in the deep water. He followed the trail he had taken the previous day, moving past the large propeller and the hole in the hull. When he entered the submarine again, it felt even more silent than before. Everything looked exactly the same, frozen in time. Adam swam through the narrow corridors, passing broken panels and twisted metal parts. Tiny sea creatures floated around, undisturbed by his presence. He soon reached the sealed door once more. It stood firm, strong, and untouched by age. The engraved letters Project Nautilus glimmered faintly when his light moved over them. He brought the box from his diving bag and placed it near the door. To his surprise, a faint blue glow appeared around the edges of the door for a few seconds, as if the box had triggered something. Adam's eyes widened. The reaction faded, but it proved that the two objects were somehow connected. He reached out to touch the metal surface again. It was cold, but he could feel a slight vibration under his glove. He recorded everything with his camera and examined the wall around the door. On the right side, half covered by coral, he noticed a small circular plate. It looked like an old lock mechanism, but the center had the same spiral pattern as the symbol on the box. Adam carefully brushed the sand away and placed the box near the spiral. The box began to make a soft humming sound. It was weak but steady, like something coming to life after many years of sleep. Suddenly, the sealed door made a faint metallic sound, followed by a slow movement. It was unlocking itself. Adam floated back, heart racing. The door opened slightly, letting out a small cloud of trapped air bubbles. Inside, the room was darker than the rest of the submarine, and something inside reflected his light. Adam hesitated for a moment. His oxygen level was halfway down, but he couldn't leave now. This was the discovery of his life. He slowly entered the room. The first thing he saw were metal containers fixed to the walls, each marked with numbers and old writing. In the center of the room stood a large glass tube connected to wires and broken panels. Inside the tube was something he could not understand at first. It looked like a silver-colored device shaped like a sphere with strange patterns on it. The design didn't match any technology from the World War II era. It looked advanced, almost futuristic. Adam moved closer and filmed everything. The control panel beside the tube had switches and buttons labeled in English, but also in another language he didn't recognize. A small screen displayed a flickering symbol, the same spiral as before. It glowed faintly even after so many years underwater. He reached out and touched one of the nearby panels. The submarine made a low hum that echoed through the walls. It sounded like something deep inside was still running. He stepped back, worried that any wrong move could damage the fragile remains or cause a collapse. He took a few more photos and decided it was best to return with Mia and the proper equipment. This was far bigger than a simple dive. As he swam back through the corridors, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. Near the captain's chair in the control room, there was a plaque half covered with sand. He wiped it off gently. The words read, Nautilus Division Oceanic Research Unit, Year 1944. That confused him even more. There had been no official record of such a unit during the war. Most submarines were used for battles, not research. What kind of research could have required such a large and secret submarine? He returned to the surface slowly, making sure not to rise too fast. When he reached the boat, Mia was waiting with the camera monitor ready. She helped him up quickly. "Did you find anything?" she asked, her voice filled with curiosity. Adam took off his mask and nodded. Yes, the door opened. There's a whole room behind it. You won't believe what's inside. They both sat on the deck as Adam showed her the footage. The video showed the glowing spiral, the opening door, and the strange silver device inside the glass tube. Mia covered her mouth in shock. "This can't be from that time," she whispered. "That technology didn't exist in the 1940s. "I know," Adam said. "That's what makes it so strange. It looks like something from the future." Mia thought for a moment. "We need to take samples, and maybe check the submarine's records. If there's still any data or writing, it might explain everything." Adam agreed. "Tomorrow we go again, but we'll both dive this time, and we'll bring more lights and tools." As evening came, the sky turned orange and the sea reflected the warm colors. Adam placed the box and the camera in a safe container. He sat quietly on the deck watching the horizon. The ocean looked calm, but he knew that beneath its peaceful surface lay something that could rewrite history. He couldn't stop thinking about the submarine. It had been built during a time when technology was limited, yet what he saw inside was beyond imagination. The silver sphere, the glowing symbols, the locked systems that still worked after so many years, everything felt like a message from another world. That night, while the waves rocked the boat gently, Adam looked out the window of his small cabin. He felt both excited and uneasy. He didn't know if the submarine was hiding a scientific discovery, a secret weapon, or something even more mysterious. All he knew was that the deeper they went, the stranger things became. The morning light was soft and silver as it reflected on the calm ocean. Adam stood on the deck of the boat, checking his diving gear once again. He had barely slept the night before. The strange images from the submarine kept returning to his mind. The glowing spiral, the sealed door that opened by itself, and the mysterious sphere inside the glass tube all felt like something out of a dream. But it was real. He had seen it with his own eyes. Mia came up from the cabin holding 2 small waterproof lights and a case of scientific tools. "We will need to take samples from the metal surface and try to read any writing near that device," she said. "It might tell us why this submarine was built." Adam nodded. "We will also check for any sign of a power source. The hum I heard yesterday means something inside is still working." They went over the dive plan carefully. This time both of them would go down together. They made sure all the equipment was ready, double-checked the oxygen tanks, and secured the underwater communication line between them. The sea was calm and the weather looked perfect. It was the best time to explore again. As they entered the water, the cool waves surrounded them. They swam downward, the sunlight above fading quickly as they went deeper. Fish swam past them in bright colors, and the world became quieter with every meter they descended. The submarine came into view soon, lying still on the ocean floor like a sleeping metal giant. Its size looked even more massive now that both of them were there together. Mia's voice came through the radio. "It's so big. It looks like an underwater city." Adam smiled inside his mask. "Wait until you see what's inside." They entered through the same opening at the back of the submarine. The corridor was dark, and the air bubbles from their breathing created a soft echo that filled the space. The walls were covered with sea plants and rust, but the structure itself remained strong. They followed the path Adam had taken before until they reached the sealed door. The spiral symbol still glowed faintly on the metal surface, and the strange box hummed softly when Adam placed it nearby. The door opened again slowly, releasing a stream of tiny bubbles. They entered the hidden room together. Mia's light moved across the walls, revealing more details than Adam had seen before. There were several control panels, each covered with buttons and labels written in both English and another language that looked unfamiliar. Some of the text was faded, but Mia took pictures of everything. In the center of the room, the large glass tube stood silently. Inside it, the silver sphere glowed faintly with a pale blue color. It seemed to respond to their movement as if aware of their presence. Adam moved closer and noticed that the patterns on the surface of the sphere were not random. They formed a repeating design that looked like waves surrounding a spiral in the middle. The same spiral appeared on the submarine walls and on the box he had found. Mia looked at the sphere closely and whispered, "This doesn't belong to that time. The material looks too advanced. Even modern technology cannot make something that resists corrosion for so long underwater." Adam nodded slowly. "It feels like it was made to survive forever." He examined the panel near the tube. There were 3 large switches and a lever marked main activation. Of course, after all these years, it should not work anymore. But when he brushed away the layer of sand and touched the lever, a small light blinked on. Mia stepped back in surprise. "Is it still alive?" she asked. "I think so," Adam said. "There's still some power running inside this submarine." They followed the wires leading from the panel to the back wall. There they found a large box-like machine with several cables attached. A small part of it was still glowing. Mia gently scraped off the rust and saw a metal plate that read, "Power Core, Model XN44. Below it was the phrase, "Do not activate outside control protocol." This was not normal technology, Mia said. Maybe the submarine was built for secret experiments. Adam nodded. That would explain why there are no records about it. He took a sample of the metal surface and stored it in a small container. They both continued searching the room. Near the far corner, they found several old books and papers locked in a glass compartment. The papers were wet and half ruined, but some words were still visible. Mia took photos and tried to read them. One paper had a title that said Energy Field Conversion Test. Another mentioned something about Oceanic Transmission Experiment. Mia looked at Adam. These are not military terms. These are scientific projects. Maybe they were testing a new kind of power source using the ocean. Adam thought for a moment. If this power was so advanced, maybe it was too dangerous or too powerful. That could be the reason they tried to hide it. They kept looking around until Adam noticed a small metal door behind the glass tube. It was partly covered with coral. When he brushed it clean, he saw the word archive written above it. He pushed gently and it opened with a soft creak. Inside was a narrow passage that led to another small room. The walls of this room were lined with metal shelves. On them were more boxes similar to the one Adam had found before, but all were sealed. Each box had a number engraved and the same spiral symbol. Some shelves were empty, as if things had been removed long ago. Adam recorded everything carefully. This looks like a storage area. Maybe they kept data or samples here. Mia nodded. We should not open anything yet. It might react like the other one. Adam agreed. His oxygen warning light began to blink, reminding him it was time to return. Let's go up now. We will bring more tools next time. As they swam out of the submarine, Adam turned one last time to look at the glowing sphere. It remained silent, shining faintly in the dark water. Something about it felt alive. It did not seem like a machine, but more like something waiting to be understood. When they reached the surface, the sky had turned bright blue. The boat rocked gently as they climbed aboard. Mia helped Adam remove his mask and tanks. They both sat down, breathing deeply and looking at the endless ocean around them. For a while, neither of them spoke. They were still trying to process what they had seen. Finally, Mia broke the silence. If what we saw down there is real, this submarine could hold technology that the world has never known. Adam nodded slowly. And if it still works, it means someone built it to last for a reason. They reviewed the video footage together on the small screen. Every frame made the mystery deeper. The symbols, the glowing sphere, the secret archive, all pointed to something beyond normal human invention of that time. Mia zoomed in on one frame that showed the sphere glowing. It almost looks like it's generating energy on its own, she said. Adam looked at her. Maybe that was the experiment. An endless energy source. That night, as the stars filled the sky, Adam sat alone on the deck. The ocean was calm and quiet. He thought about the people who had built the submarine, the scientists who had worked in silence beneath the waves. What had they discovered? What had gone wrong? And why had the world forgotten about Project Nautilus? He closed his eyes and listened to the sound of the waves. Deep inside, he felt that the secret of the submarine was not just about history or science. It was something greater, something that could connect the past and the future. He didn't know it yet, but what he had found was about to change not only his life but also the understanding of the entire world. The next day, the weather was calm, but the air carried a strange heaviness. Adam stood on the deck early in the morning, looking at the endless water that stretched in every direction. The sun had just started to rise, painting the sea in shades of gold and blue. He felt both excited and nervous. The discovery they had made inside the submarine was still fresh in his mind. The glowing sphere, the archive room, and the strange technology that should not exist in the 1940s filled his thoughts. Mia joined him with a cup of tea in her hand. She had spent the whole night studying the photos and the video footage they took. Her eyes were tired but full of curiosity. I found something, she said as she handed him her notebook. Look at this. The spiral symbol we saw on the submarine also appeared in some old research papers from the 1940s. It was connected to a secret group called the Oceanic Science Division. They were believed to work on energy projects during the war, but nobody ever confirmed their existence. Adam turned the pages slowly. So maybe this submarine was built by that group, he said. And Project Nautilus could be their biggest creation. Mia nodded. If that's true, then the device we saw might be their main experiment. Maybe they were trying to create an endless power source from the ocean. Adam placed the notebook on the table and looked at the horizon. We need to go back down. We need to understand what that device really does. They spent the next few hours preparing for the dive. This time, they added stronger lights, extra cameras, and small robotic drones to help them record and map the inside of the submarine. Everything was ready by noon. The sky was clear and the ocean looked calm, as if it was waiting for them. When Adam and Mia entered the water, the world above disappeared again. The deeper they went, the darker and quieter it became. The submarine soon appeared in front of them like a dark mountain resting on the ocean floor. The same feeling of mystery returned, making both of them move carefully as they entered through the broken hull. Inside, the silence was thick. They passed the control room, the sealed corridors, and finally reached the chamber with the glowing sphere. The light from the sphere was brighter than before, filling the room with a soft blue glow. It almost looked alive. The patterns on its surface were moving slowly, changing shapes like waves on the water. Mia stared at it with wide eyes. It's reacting to something, she said. Maybe our presence. Adam moved closer and studied the control panel. The switches were still glowing faintly. He touched one of them carefully. A low sound filled the room and a few lights flickered on the walls. The submarine seemed to wake up little by little, like it had been sleeping for a long time and now wanted to breathe again. Mia's voice shook slightly through the radio. Adam, I think it's turning on. He nodded. I see it. I think the energy inside the sphere is still active. They both stepped back as the sphere's glow grew stronger. The whole room filled with light. The humming sound became deeper, and the water around them started to vibrate gently. Adam looked at the power core on the back wall and saw small sparks of light flowing through the wires again. Somehow, after so many years, the submarine had started to reactivate itself. Mia quickly began recording everything. This is impossible, she said. No machine can survive that long and still function underwater. Adam's heartbeat grew faster. Unless it was never just a normal machine, he said. The light in the room became almost too bright. Then just as suddenly as it had begun, everything went still again. The glow faded slightly but did not disappear. Instead, a small panel on the wall slid open, revealing a narrow compartment. Inside it was a small metal cylinder with a transparent cover. Inside the cover was a crystal-like object glowing softly. Mia swam closer to it. This must be the power source, she said. Look at the design. It's not like anything from that time. Adam reached out and gently lifted the cylinder. It was surprisingly light. The glow inside flickered gently, almost as if it was breathing. Whatever this is, he said, it's the heart of this submarine. They placed the cylinder carefully in a protected container. Before they could leave, Adam noticed a screen turning on near the main control panel. Strange symbols appeared on it, then slowly changed into English words. Both of them stared in shock as the words formed a sentence. System integrity at 43%. Awaiting activation command. Mia's eyes widened. It can still understand commands. Adam looked at her. Maybe we should not touch anything else until we study this further. They began to head back toward the exit. But as they reached the corridor, Adam noticed something new on one of the walls. There was a small metal plaque with engraved writing. It said, "This vessel carries the hope of a future powered by the ocean. May it guide humanity to light." Mia took a picture of it. They were not building a weapon, she said. They were building something to help the world. Adam looked around the silent corridor. Then why was it hidden? Why did it sink before it could be discovered? They reached the surface after a slow and careful ascent. The moment they climbed onto the deck, they placed the protected container on the table. The glowing cylinder looked peaceful, like a small sun trapped in glass. The blue light danced gently inside it. Mia stared at it in silence. If this is a new kind of energy source, we have found something that can change the world. Adam nodded slowly. We must be careful. If this technology was lost for a reason, maybe it was not ready for that time. As night came, the boat floated quietly under the stars. The glowing cylinder rested on the table between them. Its light reflected softly on their faces. The sea was calm, but both of them felt a deep sense of unease. There were too many unanswered questions. Who built this submarine? What went wrong? And why had this powerful technology been hidden from the world? Later that night, Adam couldn't sleep. He sat near the window of his small cabin, watching the dark waves. The light from the glowing cylinder shone through the doorway, filling the cabin with a pale blue glow. He thought about how this discovery could change everything. Energy without limits, power drawn from the sea itself. But he also knew that great power often came with great responsibility. He opened his notebook and wrote down his thoughts. If this power once caused disaster, I must learn the truth before sharing it with anyone. His handwriting trembled slightly. He felt the weight of the discovery pressing on his mind. It was both a gift and a mystery. Outside, the wind grew stronger and small waves hit the side of the boat. The ocean that had given them this secret now seemed alive, watching them silently. Adam looked out into the darkness and whispered, "What have we really found?" The sea gave no answer. Only the soft glow from the cylinder continued to shine, lighting the boat with its gentle blue light. It was calm and beautiful, yet filled with questions that no one could yet answer. The night after their discovery was long and silent. The glowing cylinder rested in a sealed glass case on the boat's main table. Its soft blue light filled the room with a calm yet powerful glow. Adam could not stop staring at it. He knew that what they had found could change everything the world knew about energy and history. Mia was sitting near the radar screen, reviewing the data again and again, trying to understand how a World War II submarine could hold something so advanced. In the morning, the sea was peaceful. The sun rose slowly, turning the water golden. Birds flew above the waves, and the gentle wind brushed against the boat's sails. Adam stood near the edge, deep in thought. "This discovery is bigger than us," he said. "It could be the answer to many problems, but it could also bring trouble if it falls into the wrong hands." Mia nodded. "You're right. If this is clean energy, every company and every government would want to control it. We need to make sure it's used the right way." They decided to take the cylinder to a private research facility owned by one of Mia's old professors. He was known for his honesty and love for science. His name was Dr. Rowan. Adam trusted Mia's judgment, so they set their course toward the mainland. The journey took almost 2 days. During that time, they both stayed alert, making sure no other ships were following them. The sea was calm, but the air felt tense, as if nature itself knew they were carrying something important. When they finally reached the shore, Dr. Rowan was already waiting at the small harbor. He was a tall man with kind eyes and a curious smile. As soon as he saw the cylinder, his expression changed from calm to amazement. "This is extraordinary," he said. "I have never seen anything like this. Where did you find it?" Adam explained everything, from the discovery of the submarine to the glowing sphere inside. Dr. Rowan listened carefully without interrupting. After a long pause, he said, "If what you are saying is true, then this device might not just be a power source. It could be a fusion core, something that can generate unlimited energy without harming the environment, but it needs to be tested carefully." They took the cylinder to his laboratory, a quiet place surrounded by trees and the sound of flowing water. Inside, machines and computers filled the room. Dr. Rowan placed the cylinder inside a transparent chamber connected to several sensors. He pressed a few buttons and the screens began to show numbers and graphs. The blue light inside the cylinder pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. Mia looked at the readings. "The energy output is steady," she said. "It's not decaying. It's producing clean energy continuously." Dr. Rowan smiled. "This technology is far beyond what we had in the 1940s. Whoever built that submarine was thinking ahead of their time. If this is developed properly, it could solve the world's energy problems forever." Adam listened quietly, feeling a mix of pride and fear. "But we still don't know why it was hidden," he said. "Maybe they kept it secret because it was too powerful or too risky." Dr. Rowan nodded. "That's a good question. I will run some more tests to understand its limits. But one thing is clear. This discovery must be handled with care." For the next few days, Adam and Mia helped Dr. Rowan with his research. They worked day and night, studying the material of the cylinder, the crystal inside it, and the strange patterns that glowed across its surface. They discovered that the crystal seemed to absorb energy from its surroundings and convert it into light and power without losing strength. It was like a small sun that never faded. One evening, Mia called Adam to the lab. Her voice was filled with excitement. "Look at this," she said, pointing to the computer screen. "When the core activates, it sends a faint signal like a pulse. It's almost as if it's trying to communicate." Adam leaned closer. "You mean it's alive?" "Not alive in the usual way," she said, "but it reacts to certain frequencies. Maybe it was designed to connect with something else, maybe another machine." Dr. Rowan joined them and looked thoughtful. Perhaps the submarine was not the only one built. There could be others hidden somewhere in the ocean still waiting. The thought sent a chill down Adam's spine. If there are more, then we've only found the beginning. News of the discovery began to spread quietly among trusted scientists. Soon, small teams from around the world came to study the device. They confirmed that the energy inside was clean, endless, and safe. It could replace fuel, coal, and even nuclear power. The world started to see hope in a new direction. But Adam still worried. He remembered the strange symbols and the line on the submarine wall, "May it guide humanity to light." Those words kept echoing in his mind. One afternoon, while Adam was sitting near the harbor, Mia joined him with a newspaper in her hand. "They're already calling it the Ocean Light Core," she said with a smile. "People believe it can change the future." Adam looked at the calm sea. "I just hope we are ready for it," he said. "Sometimes when people find power like this, they start to fight over it. I don't want that to happen." Mia placed her hand on his shoulder. We'll make sure it's used for good. We found it, and it's our duty to protect it. Months passed. The energy from the Ocean Light Core was successfully replicated in controlled labs. Small devices powered by similar crystals began to appear in different places. Cities started to test them for lighting, transport, and even water purification. The world was slowly changing. Pollution levels dropped, and hope returned to many hearts. The discovery had truly changed the world, just as the name of the story promised. But for Adam, the story did not end there. One night he returned to the ocean, to the same place where it all began. The waves were calm, and the moonlight shimmered on the water. He wanted to say goodbye to the submarine that had started everything. He dove once more into the deep water, following the same path as before. The submarine still rested silently on the ocean floor, but something was different. The light inside it was gone. It was completely dark. Adam floated near the control room and noticed the screen that once showed the message. Now it displayed something new. It read, "Mission completed. Humanity has received the light." He stared at the words, feeling a strange warmth in his heart. It was as if the submarine knew what had happened above. It had waited for the right time, for someone who would use its gift for good. Now its purpose was fulfilled. When Adam returned to the surface, he looked at the stars and smiled. He realized that sometimes the past hides treasures not to be forgotten, but to be found when the world is ready. The ocean had kept its secret for decades, and when the time was right, it shared it with those who could understand its meaning. Back on shore, Mia was waiting for him. "Did you find anything new?" she asked. He shook his head gently. "No, but I found peace. The submarine story is complete. Now it's our turn to protect what it gave us." As they stood together under the starlit sky, the wind moved softly through the trees. The world was entering a new age of hope and light, all because of one diver's courage to explore the unknown. The ocean had revealed its greatest secret, and humanity had been changed forever.